Before time began, there was the loot box. We know not where it comes from, only that it holds the power to destroy games and fill them with shit. That is how Mario Kart was destroyed. For a time, there was harmony, but like all great power, some want it for good, others for evil. And so began the war, a war that ravaged our Mario Kart until it was consumed by death. And the real Mario Kart was lost to the far reaches of space. We scattered across the galaxy, hoping to find it and rebuild our hope in Nintendo, searching every star, every world. But we were already too late.
Hello everyone, my name's Sam. I'm a recovering 200cc Mario Kart player.
Hi Sam.
Hi Sam.
It's been a rough couple of months. Lost my job, investment banker, you know. That blue shell though, I was first place in life, but now 12th place, you know. Wife left me. That's another monthly subscription that I have now, am I right?
Mm-hmm. I've been there.
But you know, it's getting better. Like I'm not playing Mario Kart anymore. You know, using that $8 a month subscription on better things like drugs and alcohol, so it's better. And you know, it's getting better every day. But blue shell. Has anyone got $5 on them? Just $5 for now. I'll give it back to you, I promise. Really need it. Hello everyone!
It feels like only yesterday that Activision disappointed us with their Call of Duty chicanery. And now, I know, right? I'm ripping out the big words.
I don't know what that is. Just like yesterday, what was the other word that you used?
Planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence, I know that word.
But now it's Nintendo's turn to disappoint us.
Yes.
You couldn't even believe such a thing is possible, but believe me, they've managed to find a way to do it.
Sadly, yes.
Mario Kart Tour has released, and it's a game that, you know, everyone was quite excited about because they're thinking, cool, we get to play Mario Kart on our phones. That's great. Turns out that it's the absolute worst microtransaction game in history. Like, it puts
EA to shame.
The worst.
Puts EA to shame.
EA
games ruin everything.
100%. It is actually the worst monetized game we've ever seen. I think to be able to really understand it though, we kind of need to know how Nintendo got here and some of the history of their monetization policies when it comes to their free-to-play stuff. This all began a few years back now actually with the release of Mario Run, which we played. It was kind of cool, I guess.
Cool. It was a mobile game. I was expecting it to be a mobile game in terms of, you know, I wasn't expecting, you know, an entire Mario game. I think it was a success in terms of let's enter the market and see what we can do with Nintendo IP.
Correct.
And look, I thought a lot of the general reception is it was a pretty good game, but monetization-wise, maybe it wasn't as good as they wanted.
They charged like $10 flat fee for it, so it wasn't like a...
Oh, was it that expensive?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was like $3.99.
It really should have been, to be honest, and I feel like they looked at the failure of this to generate revenue, because this generated about $70 million
which is still pretty good, I guess, but in the mobile space, as we'll get to, it's nothing.
It's like a tiny drop in the ocean.
It's nothing.
So they looked at that and they thought, well, obviously that's not how we should monetize our games. We need to do more free-to-play style monetization and go deeper into that. That's when we saw the release of stuff like Fire Emblems and Animal Crossing and Dragalia Lost.
We have the graph right now.
So yeah, so there are 3 other games that have launched quite strongly and done really well for Nintendo. And have generated a lot of money for them. Dragalia Lost has generated about $100 million. Animal Crossing as well, about $100 million. Fire Emblem Heroes, though, is the real standout success.
It's the big boy.
Nearly $600 million of revenue generated for them. So really massive. That's a very gacha style game because it's sort of like a, you know, turn-based RPG where you collect characters. Japanese people absolutely love that shit.
I was recently in Tokyo. There was lines for shit like that, guys. It's just insane. They definitely found something that they were like, cool, we're making a lot of money out of this. Let's go down this route.
Who are you?
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
I think they looked at the gacha style stuff and they thought we need to do a lot more gacha.
Sure.
And they also looked at the rest of the mobile market and thought we need to go even further into monetization. And so then they looked at the release of Dr. Mario, which came out just recently. It has the full Candy Crush.
Smash hit.
It has the full Candy Crush lives thing, you know, because like a puzzle game where if you fuck up, you basically run out of lives. There's 3 currencies in the game. It's a full-on 100% monetized free-to-play game. It's actually bombed pretty hard for Nintendo, only generating... Yeah, I think it's generated about $1 million over its life cycle right now. To
and
this
100,000 in the first 3 days, which is actually nothing compared to Fire Emblem, which did 11 million in the first 72 hours.
Correct. So Nintendo looked at that and thought, well, that didn't quite work. But I think a lot of people sort of think, well, look, that's Dr. Mario. It's a small franchise compared to the bigger stuff. Maybe that was the problem, right? Fast forward now to the release of Mario Kart Tour on, you know, Google Android devices.
I won't go in a kid's room. You can't make me. You're going in there because we need this.
Give me your fucking money!
I was super excited for this, by the way. Like, we're not going in going, oh my god, like, but the controls, we'll start with the actual how it felt.
Yeah, how it plays.
We've been playing it for the last day or two. It feels horrendous.
It's so bad.
It's the worst experience I think I've ever had on a mobile. Like, any game that's ever come out, I'm like, whoa, this is what you want to play when you're stoned or some shit. You're like, whoa, what's going on here? The whole thing just feels just off. It's not even worth the... we'll get to the actual monetization, but it's not worth the price tag that is attached to it. But it has everything that you wouldn't want. It has the loot boxes. It has in-game currency. And the worst part about it is it has a monthly subscription for not even the entire game. A one particular style of play within the game, the 200cc.
Yeah, the way this works is that there are numerous like CC game modes, which we're all used to if you've played Mario Kart over the years. They relate to the speed of the game. And the game where you play it on default is pretty slow feeling. Like, it really does feel kind of boring because you're just kind of like going left and right on your phone, doing these ones, and it just goes forever. 200cc is the fastest game mode. That's what you want to be playing at. And that's the mode that you cannot access unless you are spending $5 a month or like $8 Australian dollars a month to access this game mode with the that's called the Gold Pass. That also comes with like bonus loot drop stuff.
I think you get like Mario and a car or two, but in reality, you're only really getting it so you can play the 200cc.
Essentially, so that is crazy. You are talking about a game with loot box progression. You are talking about a game with gacha style components, so people want to be able to like catch them all and collect everything.
Yeah.
Who's that Pokemon? It's... Give me your fucking...
And you're also talking about a monthly subscription fee on top of that. When we said before that it was the most egregious mobile game we've ever seen, we actually meant it, because I can't think of another game that combines loot boxes with subscription. Like, that's
with
fucking
in-game
nuts.
currency. Now, I think that actually more than mobile, any game in general has never come along and been so cheeky. Like, it's so horrendous.
Yeah.
This is the worst monetization structure I've ever seen in any game, period. And to come from Nintendo?
Yeah, this is what's nuts about
Oh my
it.
god, I knew that it was going to be a mobile game. I was expecting some things here and there because they needed to monetize before this came out. But when this came out, everyone in the gaming industry is like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, the reception to this has been universally negative. No one has a kind word for this. Every single headline we've seen talks about the fact that the game is utterly ruined by these microtransaction economies. The very Reddit threads that have popped up, thousands of upvotes, all decrying it as one of the greediest pieces of microtransaction garbage ever.
The user reviews, of course,
user
on Google Play
reviews
and
are
whatnot.
fantastic. I mean, we can have a look at some of those now.
I looked up the shop and get shocked why this game's so expensive. This is supposed to be family friendly, right?
Underwhelming money grab. We should demand better. Ridiculous monthly subscription to unlock extras. The game looks subpar and the controls are truly awful. Isn't Mario Kart online with friends and not pay to win? I remember Mario Kart on the original DS and was so much fun. You can play with your friends all day long. You didn't have to play with random people. What happened to that version of Nintendo?
What the hell?
I know you want to make your game and get profit, but ... So what he's actually referring to here is that multiplayer is not yet available. Multiplayer will be coming later as well.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure when.
I wonder if they'll monetize
And I wonder
that.
if that's going to be locked behind 200cc.
Yes.
I mean, that obviously would be just the lowest of the low.
Which is
but
actually
this is
entirely
already pretty
possible.
low, so it's actually possible.
Yeah.
So obviously the internet hates this. No surprises there whatsoever. It is a real low point for Nintendo. And I think as well, it's like, it's important to recognize that this comes at the worst possible time for Nintendo, because you've recently seen the release of Apple Arcade and the Google Play Pass, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at something that costs exactly the same $5 a month for the Apple Arcade, $5 a month for the Google Play Pass, gives you access to dozens, hundreds of actually good games,
Like
by the way.
Kart Tour and stuff like that. Like, that's just one of many games that you will get on this pass. Like, you know, you can either jump on for a $5 monthly subscription to have one particular aspect of a game that you can play, 200cc.
One part of one game.
Or you can pay $5 and have like dozens of games. Some of them are fantastic games that, of course, you want to sit there and play hours and hours of. It's just like Nintendo has lost their mind. Are they like brand new to this shit? They're not brand new.
Yeah.
You see by the graph, they've done this shit before. Like, this is just crazy.
And I think as well, there's actually a very interesting quote from back in the day. When I say back in the day, I'm actually referring to earlier this year.
Back in the
where
day.
Nintendo was actually talking about its approach to monetization, and they said this. Nintendo is not interested in making a large amount of revenue from a single smartphone game. If we managed the game alone, we would have made a lot more, said a representative of Dragalia Lost developer Cyber Agent when he was speaking to Wall Street Journal. So basically what he's saying is that we partner with Nintendo for this game Dragalia Lost. They're not interested in making lots of money from a single mobile game. We could have made a lot more money from this if we weren't partnered with Nintendo. Now we see, obviously, Nintendo is interested in
100%.
making a lot of money from a single mobile game, and they're going all in on this.
This is definitely Mario Kart. God, that's terrible. Mario Kart, like
What
EA.
the hell?
I don't know.
Oh my
but you know what I'm
God.
saying? They're going down the EA route, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. It is now, I think that if this continues and the backlash is gigantic, I personally think that they might change this monetization structure.
I don't think so. I think unfortunately, there's a real two-track approach to monetization when it comes to video games. There's core gaming monetization, and we saw backlash to that with Star Wars Battlefront 2, etc. The loot box stuff that's going on, all that stuff. And then there's mobile games, where I think that core gamers know this shit is not for us. Like, we played Mario Kart Tour for 2 minutes and we're like, this is fucking garbage. I mean, it's in portrait mode, for God's sake. It's a racing game in portrait mode when every other touch screen racing game is in landscape. Do you know what I mean? Like, basic stuff like that just demonstrate that this is not designed for core gamers. And so, yeah, we look at this and we think this is really shit, but then we move on. And so I don't think that Nintendo is going to turn around and change their monetization on this, because they know that, like, core gamers don't really care about this in the long term.
I
Do you know what
certainly think that you might be right there,
Yeah.
but I do think that, look, as I said, if there's enough YouTubers and Twitch streamers and media outlets to pick it up, maybe this is the first time I think that Nintendo is going to be under fire, from my recollection, for their monetization structures. So I think it's new territory for them too, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see how they do react to potentially a big backlash, but we won't know. You might be right. They might be like, it's mobile shit, guys.
Yeah.
The hardcore gamers will move on, and you know, the casuals will play.
Casual
this
just
game for a bit.
spend. They'll just spend money.
Just like FIFA and stuff. Like they know what fights.
And Call
to
of
fight.
Duty. You think Activision gives a fuck that we're complaining about Call of Duty right
Activision
now?
cares, man. Okay, Activision cares.
So
Anyway,
look,
guys.
that's the story. It is a disappointing turn for Nintendo. Who knows what it's going to lead to in the long term for their overall company approach. But either way, that's what it is. Mario Kart Double Cash out now on the Android.
I made that up, guys, not Ralph. Okay, I made
out
that
now
up.
on Google Play and Apple stores. Don't download it.